Purple People podcast fans, welcome to this week's show. My name is Kyle Smith, and I'm joined here by Dorian Foley and Kyle West. What is up, fellas?
Hey, how's it going?
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's good tonight, this evening. Talk about some Minnesota Vikings football. That's always a good thing, right?
It is
Yeah, of
always
course.
always a good thing, and we apologize. Schedules, as usual, they are all over the place, but we found a window, so better late than never. This is episode number 363 of the Purple People podcast. And I stole this from the internet, as I was telling Kyle a couple of seconds ago. This is called Practice Makes Burfict, because we played a game against the Raiders Sunday, and we didn't walk away mad like the week before. So it was a good Sunday.
The Raiders.
Yeah, hey, we got 8 more years of John Gruden. If he doesn't get fired, he's still going to be getting paid all that money. So there's that. You know, if you think the Kirk Cousins deal's bad in theory, but what I just said out loud was pretty comical.
Right.
Oh yeah, for the Raiders, that's complete horse manure. I'll try not to curse. Um, in that regard, what you just said, Mr. Smith, if they fire him, they still owe him all that money for for the next however long, length of his contract. And obviously, with that money going out, that can rather be going to other players or whatever, staff or whatever. Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I heard something. We talk about the Raiders for a minute. I heard something a while back, man. You guys listen to podcasts all the time. So the money that they pay Rod Haas and Andrew Latola are in the chat. What's up, guys? And Green Bay just scored. Yeah, I've got the Philly and Green Bay game on. Go Eagles.
But I think of Green Bay and Philly, they get the double thumbs up for that one.
It'd be great if they ended in a tie. That would make me very happy.
Yeah,
Green Bay just scored a touchdown to start. Yeah, Andrew's got a good point. Gruden's salary doesn't come off the cap, which is, that's what I was getting to there is they are one of the more broke teams in football as far as paying their players, but they have that other stash set aside to pay the owners and the coaches and the GM and all that. So they got $100 million they can commit to John Gruden, but they didn't want to commit to Khalil Mack, which still is one of the most head-scratching things I've ever seen in my football lifetime, letting that guy go. Because we talked about it before, when you go in the draft, it's always a 50-50 gamble. You got to hit on a player, and when you pick that high, you want him to be a perennial player for like at least 10 years. And they had that, but they got rid of him. But that is Oakland, and Oakland does Oakland things. So
sometimes the Vikings do Vikings things and bring back Laquan Treadwell.
yeah, we got to talk about that for this week.
Yeah, I'm sure Dorian's excited for that one.
Before we get into the Raiders game review, let's do that as our quick hits for this week. I don't have any notes up, so I'm glad that Kyle brought that up because I would have overlooked it. Chad Beebe is out indefinitely with a foot injury. No timetable of return just yet. Other injuries we'll go over as we preview the Bears game at the end of the show, too, that's coming up Sunday. But Chad Beebe is out indefinitely, so guess who was sitting on their couch and needed a job? Laquan Treadwell. He's back on the team for wide receiver depth. And you know what? Of all the hate that we've thrown at that guy on this show, I'm actually glad that nobody picked him up because at least he can block.
He knows the system.
He has familiarity.
He knows the playbook. I mean, yeah. So we're gonna. I think Dorian must be having some internet issues. Looks like he had to log out there. But yeah, for Laquan Treadwell, I mean, hey, I sighed when I got the alert from my. That's exactly right, Andrew. I sighed when I got the alert from my phone from ESPN that said the Vikings signed Laquan Treadwell. I'm like, of course they did. That's the most Minnesota thing you could possibly do. But hey, maybe the fact that he basically got fired and no one else was willing to pick him up is going to be super motivational for this kid. We've said this all along. I would love nothing more than for Laquan to be like, I'm going to be a fucking Pro Bowler for this team and just figure it out. Like, I would be okay with that. I would not be mad with production from Laquan Treadwell. I do not think it's going to happen, though. We also, before we forget, they also signed Marcus Sherrills back to the team.
Yeah, you can't forget that guy. I mean, we had been saying for like I've been a part of the show since Zimmer came along. I started way back. I won't give you the episode number. You guys can do that research for us. Ryan Denny says, Trady is back. That's right, man. Number 11, because I believe that's his overall Madden score for his pro football tenure. Or maybe that's the number of catches he has in 3 years. I don't know. I'm being a jerk right now.
Yeah, that's
we are glad to have
11 is his total. 11 yards total in 3 seasons. That's his production.
We're this season, man. We're glad to have him back, especially for depth. And this is it. What you said, man. I won't piggyback off of that, but it's true. Maybe it'll let it fire because I thought a team like the Giants, who are very, very just stricken right now at the wide receiver position, would have picked him up as a flyer. And even they didn't want him with old Eli Manning and Danny Dimes over there to give him somebody to throw to. But who knows, man? Maybe it'll motivate him to come back. You mentioned Marcus Sherrills is back, so I'm happy for that, man. I love being.
Yeah, man. What happened with Marcus? I know he had signed with New Orleans. I think he had some kind of. Was it an injury that got him? I think he got injured and got cut or something.
I don't know if he got injured. I can't confirm or deny that, but I do know he was cut by the New Orleans, so that works. And the cool part of that is I love BB. He's a cool story, kind of like a diet Adam Thielen kind of vibe there.
Yeah.
His dad played as well, which is cool. But he's not a good returner in comparison to Marcus Sherrill. Marcus Sherrill is one of the best punt returners in the league. So imagine this. Imagine the Vikings play stellar on defense all year. The offense keeps running the crap out of the ball, and then we add that to special teams.
Right.
That would be really cool.
We totally could use a little boost in special teams, and I'm glad to see Marcus Sherrill's back. I agree with Ryan. I do not want to see him out there as a corner on defense.
I can tell you right now, you could just go ahead and hit the tornado alarm for the entire state of Minnesota. If he's in playing corner, we are screwed. Right. We are so screwed. So, yeah, that's a quick update for the roster move.
Since we're stealing players from New Orleans, what do we got to do to get Teddy back on the team?
Oh, they're not going to let him go. That's another good one to talk about. I lost this week in the fantasy league that we do, the survival league. So I can go ahead and plug that for Adam as we talk now.
Thank you.
I'm just going to tell you that right now. I thought for sure New Orleans going in with Teddy into Seattle, a road game in Seattle. I was like, oh, no, there's no way they're winning that game. It wasn't even close. That game wasn't even close. Sean Payton is such a good coach and such a good schemer. Oh, my God. It was not even a close game. I know the scoreboard will probably look like it was somewhat competitive. It was not. And Teddy, he did all right. He wasn't, over the moon exciting, but he did what we've always seen him do. He played mistake-free football. He got the ball to the playmakers, Kamara and I can't remember his name, Michael Thomas. Yeah, Mike Thomas. And the defense played great. So I'm happy for Teddy. And he had an emotional post-game speech. You guys should check it out on his Instagram because it was really nice.
Right, very good stuff. Teddy is a game manager, and there's nothing wrong with that. And that is exactly what Sean Payton did. He had Teddy go out there and just manage the football game. He's never going to jump off you stat-wise because that's just not the kind of player that he is. He's not going to put up a Patrick Mahomes-style numbers out there on the field. That's not Teddy. But then we'll quit talking about a guy who's not on the Vikings. But I am still a really big fan of Teddy Bridgewater, and I can't help but not root for the guy. Like I want against Minnesota. If he ever play the Saints, like fuck him, I don't want him to do good. But of course, I want to see Teddy do well out there for the team.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. And there's a very good possibility if the Vikings can keep their head on straight and pull out 10 or 11 wins this year, we could very well meet the Saints in the postseason. Now, will Bridgewater be playing then? Probably not. Drew Brees is only scheduled to be out 8 weeks at the most. And he said it, I heard the audio today in a podcast.
Right.
He said 6 to 8 weeks is what the doctors gave me, but you know me, I'm going to try to break that. So he's going to try to be back within the next 5 to 6 weeks. So by the time we play the Saints.
Just wrap some electrical tape around that thumb, and he'll get back out there.
I forget what the actual – he put something in his thumb already so he could already start rehab immediately. So he didn't have to wait. it's nuts, man. Technology and advancements in medical stuff is crazy now, but that just shows you how uber competitive that dude is. He's a Hall of Famer for sure. So
yeah,
he'll be back. If we do play the Saints, it'll be in the postseason. That'll be a good matchup there. Because the last time we played the Saints in the postseason, Teddy was on our side. Remember that? Minneapolis Miracle Time. It seems like forever ago. Yeah, that's all I've got for updates here. We're going to dive into this game because we beat the crap out of the Raiders, and that was pretty good. 34-14, the Vikings hosted the Raiders in week 3. Took a little lead in the second quarter, and then defense played pretty good. There was another Dalvin Cook sighting. You guys, if you didn't watch, the dude's on fire. He's in the league right now. Kirk Cousins.
There was never a point. Yeah, there was never a point in this game that I thought it was really competitive. Like, I think the Vikings really just kind of like took a lead, and they kept the hammer on the Raiders are not a very good team, and like they should have beat them. They beat them pretty wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eileen Atkins makes a good point. He said he wanted to see Treadwell, Smith Jr., Morgan, and Ham run block together. Get well soon, David Morgan. I like that. He also says here, glad to have Hughes and Alexander back.
Definitely.
I don't know that Alexander back yet. I had to look right here for the questionables. Yeah, for the Bears game, Josh Klein and Kentrell Brothers are the only ones questionable for the game Sunday against the Bears. So that's cool. But yeah, Hughes was back on the field, and man, it's so nice to see that kid there. He was making plays. So Andrew says, does Zim call Cook Cookie? I don't know. I don't think he has. The only person I've heard him call a nickname is Diggs, and I think I heard him say Diggsy a couple times. Yeah,
I think I've heard him call Xavier Rhodes like Zave.
Probably.
I think so, but that's about it. Game ball has to be. Well, let's go ahead and
Cooks. Oh, okay. We'll get to game balls and donkeys here in a second. Ooh, that's a good one, Rod. Lots of 2 tight end packages in this upcoming game. You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to go right into it for game balls and donkeys. We have Dorian and Adam, since they're not joining us live on the broadcast. We do have them right here. My game ball goes to Irv Smith Jr. I was just glad to see him make some plays in this game. I'm with you, Eileen. Cook is on fire. I'm just going to go. I'm going to go outside the norm because he's such an obvious choice, and I'm not saying that your choice is wrong. Right now, he's the MVP of the team, without a doubt. But, yeah, Irv Smith Jr., if we go down here for receiving, he was the reception leader, 3 targets, 3 receptions for 60 yards, and he had a 26-yard catch. So I was glad to see him act as a receiver in this game. So he gets my game ball. What about you?
I was honestly going to go with Irv Smith Jr. as well. So Kyle and Kyle are on the same. We're on the same page for this week's episode because I have been waiting, and I realize it's only, what do you say, 3 receptions for 60 yards, and he didn't have a touchdown. But we've been waiting for him to have like a breakout performance, and I don't quite know if it was breakout, but it's starting to bust through the ice. Like, we've heard a lot of Mike Zimmer and the offensive coordinator talk about how Irv Smith is lighting it up in practice, and I want to see that translate over to the field in regular season. So I think this is great that he is starting to get more involved in the game plan. We've said all along that Irv is basically just a big-ass wide receiver for this team. And so I like the fact that they're utilizing him in that way. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do moving forward. Of course, Dalvin Cook would be another 110 yards and a touchdown is what Dalvin Cook had. So if you were to give a split game ball, I think the other half I would have to go to him as well too.
I like that, man. I'm glad we're on the same page. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Cook, man. As long as he stays healthy, he's going to be up there this year, especially for like top 5, top 3 running back if he plays like this all year. And if he stays healthy, we'll keep that on there. Knock on wood. He's easily going to break 1,000 yards. He might even do 1,000 and 1,000 if he keeps catching the ball the way he does. The receiving would be kind of hard, but he's just such a threat everywhere. And like I said, Kubiak coming in here and doing this scheme of blocking that they do And this type of running, you make one cut and boom, he has the speed to break out every single game. So it's working.
Right.
Rod Haas kind of went with Adam's here. He said, my game ball goes to the O-line. And Adam Carlson just chimed in on our personal chat and says he gives his game ball to Brian O'Neill.
Awesome.
Good choice, Adam. And I love that Adam shows the O-line love. He is our O-line representative and connoisseur on this podcast. So not surprised there, but I like it.
Ryan, I agree. I agree. Oda Johnson, we'll probably see more of him than Treadwell, but you never know. It is Minnesota.
Oh, here's a good one. Before we get to Dorian's game ball, Rod says 1 pick 6 for Hughes, saying it now. So I put this in here. I don't put our interactions for the YouTube channel, but this is me on the Pro People podcast page. I said we need to show something different on offense, just something they haven't seen yet on film. And we need to play zone against Mitch. Remember the DBs on week 1 said we just needed Mitch to play quarterback against us, and then we knew we'd have a shot. I agree with that totally. Mitch Trubisky looks like a shell of himself this year. We played terrible in Soldier Field. If you look back over time, like the last 10 years, I think we've only won there like twice in the last 10 years, maybe 3 times. But, yeah, I like that. We got some love for Alexander Madison in the chat here. Flying into the end zone, looked like it was jumping in slow motion. I agree with you too, Andrew. That's a good point. Dorian, he was with us earlier, but he chimed in as well. He wanted to give his game ball to Alexander Madison. Scored his very first NFL touchdown, special moment for the young kid, and Dorian is super happy for him. I am too, man. I heard it on, I want to say it was Chris Sims. I really enjoy the way he structures his podcast, and his dad's a Super Bowl, multiple Super Bowl winner, so I like him when he joins too. But he said, big old Phil Sims from the Giants back in the day said, Dalvin Cook's the best running back in football right now. Don't at me, Michael Irvin, about Zeke, because he's not. And I love that he said that. But, yeah, I think Sims or I can't remember who it was I listened to said that Madison could start for a couple of teams too. We got a great system like we had a couple of years ago with Jet and Latavius. So obviously this duo seems to be better, but I like the consistency there. Madison had himself a game. He's doing everything he's been asked to do thus far. Man, this is cool. 1 pick 6 for Hughes. All right, Rod. If that happens, remind us next week when you join us, and we'll give you a huge shout out, man. I really want that to happen too.
Yeah.
All right, I'm trying to go down here and think for my donkey because I'm not doing this on the fly. If I'm being honest with you, but I'm gonna
What do you have, Adam and Dorian's in front of us? Let's read theirs off.
I do have it. So Dorian said he wanted to give it to Anthony Barr. I know he didn't play, and that's the reason he could have played. All right, Anthony Barr was out with a groin issue, just for you guys that didn't know. So that's hilarious to me. Honorary game ball too. Now that I'm looking at the stats here, holy shit! Eric Wilson, excuse my French, guys. 11 total tackles, led team in tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and 2 quarterback hits. Have yourself a day, sir. Man, he did pretty good with old Barr being out. That's pretty good. I like it. Adam gave his donkey to anyone that was coloring Weller. I don't even know who Weller is, so that's a very good point. Darren Waller receiving 14 targets, 13 receptions, 134 yards, no touchdowns. Well, that'll do it. Yeah, that'll be it. So I don't know if that's a mixture of Rhodes, Waynes, and Hughes. I don't know. But yeah, I guess I can go with that and piggyback here. Being lazy. Holy crap! Who is Darren Waller? Let's look at his profile on ESPN. Let's do a deep dive here. Georgia Tech running back or wide receiver, 2015 6th round pick from Baltimore.
Whew.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, he's had a couple of good games. Denver 70 yards, Kansas City 63, 134 against the Vikings. All right, well, there's your shout out to somebody you'll forget about in 10 minutes. That is crazy. Rod, why are you giving Eric Wilson for donkey? Why? I need your explanation of that. Going down the list here. Do you have anybody you can think of off the top of your head, Kyle, while we cover these comments?
I got to admit that I had to watch the game on my phone at work, so I really don't have a donkey for this week. I didn't was only able to like half keep up with the game this week, so I really don't have one. Plus, the Vikings won, what was it, 34-14. There wasn't really any glaring like big errors, I didn't feel like. So we'll just be positive. We'll be positive for a change. How about that?
Nate Maters. Like that's the most country crap I've ever heard in my life. Maters, right? Like a Mater sandwich. That's exactly what I think. That's like from my neck of the woods. I hate that I just said that. That's gonna be on the internet forever now. Wow. Maybe I should think before I talk. I still hate Kirk Cousins. There's nothing that's going to do that to change my mind unless he wins us a Super Bowl, which we know that's not going to happen. But he was.
Ouch. Ouch.
I don't know. I'm just going to keep it there. A lot of people were praising, like, oh, what a bounce back games. Whatever. Cousins for falling on his face the first play of the game. All right, Ryan, that is funny. However, that was not his fault because I believe it was Bradbury backed up and tripped him. So I'm glad he didn't fumble. And this should tell you how crappy Kirk Cousins' fumbling issue is. The announcers had to justify and say, well, at least he didn't lose the ball. And then, the touchdown, Kyle, did you see that on the touchdown score to Adam Thielen? Cousins didn't look like he wanted to be there. He gave a thumbs up to everyone while he was walking away. Usually he's like running up and like tackling people and saying what's up. He's just like, all right, cool. I did quarterback stuff. All right, cool. I'm going to go over here now. I want to strangle this dude so bad. He's a criminal. Stole $84 million from this team. Oh my God. All right, let's go down.
I had just pulled the stream up on my phone at work just in time to see Kirk Cousins fall over. It was the first thing I seen when I got it pulled up. He just immediately fell over, and I'm like, really? Yeah.
That's the season in a nutshell right there.
But overall, you know what? I thought the Cousins played fine. I mean, he had 15 for 21 for 174 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions, a QBR of 87.3. That is a very Kirk Cousins performance. We talk about Teddy Bridgewater being a game manager. That's Kirk Cousins as well, too. We know, as well as I do, that anytime the Vikings can play defense and they can run the football effectively, they're going to win games. It's going to be when teams force us to throw, when we force the game on the shoulders of Kirk Cousins. Yep. Can he come up in the clutch for this team? That's the question that I don't have an answer for at this moment. I don't know if he can. We, as Vikings fans, we hope that he can, but I still don't know whether or not he can be that guy for this team.
I'll tell you right now, and I'm stealing this from another podcast. There's a formula there. And if you check all three of these boxes, Kirk Cousins never loses. Is it at home? Is it not in prime time? And is it against an inferior opponent? If you have all three of those, you're going to win. Ryan makes a good point too, right? So we talked about Teddy earlier. We're talking about Kirk. I think they're both game managers. I think that Kirk has a better arm than Teddy. I think we've seen that. And I think he'll take more risky shots down the field, which is always my knock on Teddy. He was, poor man's Alex Smith, if you will. But in that instance that I don't like how Teddy won't push the ball down the field, I hate that Kirk tries sometimes because it usually results in a pick or a pick six. So, no, I will not stop ripping Cousins. When he beats an opponent over 500, that's worth a damn, then I'll be quiet. I can't do that. I can't do it. This is going to be a big test on Sunday, and look what it is right here. I got it pulled up. It's going to be at 4:25, so it's going to be a feature game. Good thing it's not a night, Sunday night, Thursday night, or Monday night game. It's going to be a feature game on the road against a really good defense. Now, not to jump too far ahead for previewing here, but there are some really, really key players that are questionable Sunday for Chicago, and that'll be in our favor if they don't play. Akeem Hicks, game ruiner. Taylor Gabriel, star wide receiver. Kyle Long, great on the line. And Eddie Pinheiro, their kicker, is questionable. I'm sure he'll figure out a way to be there, but that could be in our favor on Sunday. But, I don't know. I don't want to keep just pooping all over Cousins on the show, so I'm going to move on from it. He did play better, and I like that. See what I did there?
I do.
Yeah. The rushing attack, 211 rushing yards for the team on Sunday. Man, I love seeing that. Let's go in reverse here and talk about how good it is. Sean Mannion, 2 carries for -2 yards. I think kneel downs. Adam Thielen, 1 carry, 1 yard, 1 touchdown. Kirk Cousins was 4 for 16.
Not too shabby.
Mike Boone is 3 for 28. Alexander Madison, 12 for 58. Dalvin Cook, 16 carries, 110 yards, averages 6.9. Holy crap.
Hey, spoiler alert, Dalvin Cook is pretty good.
Yeah, I figured you'd like that. I'm glad that somebody has the faith to support Kirk. He's a quarterback, whether we want him to be or not. So, of course, I'm going to support him. I just don't like him that much. I drank the Kool-Aid last year. But, hey, man, I hope he proves me wrong because I'll be the first one to come on the show and say, I was wrong. Holy crap, we're doing great. And I hope it's because of him. But we'll see, man. I'm just taking what he's given so far in his career when I say that. The rushing attack, though, man, I had it on Instagram. There's like a top 10 NFL page, and they were looking at like the yards per attempt or whatever through the league. Dalvin Cook's the leader, and then Madison is still in the top 10 too. So that should tell you something. These guys get the ball. They usually do big chunks, big chunk yardage, which is really nice.
Yeah, there has never been a question about Dalvin Cook's ability on the field. We all know that when he's healthy, he is a top-tier running back in this league. You can use him in so many different ways. He's a very, very versatile player for Minnesota. The issue has always been, can he stay on the field? Can he play a full season? Can he be there for us when we need him in the postseason? He's off to a great start. Let's hope that they can keep it together because they have a really good thing going with him and Madison right now. I think that those two complement one another really pretty well. And even having, what's his name, Mike Boone back there for a third running back, like for a third option, Boone could probably be a number 2 back on another team. So to have him for your third, your third back out there, that's a pretty damn good set of running backs for Minnesota. It's an exciting group. It's a different kind of exciting than when we had Adrian Peterson, because you had AP, you knew that you were looking at a Hall of Fame MVP caliber player, that you only needed Adrian, and you could fill in some interesting options behind him, but we really have a group of running backs for the first time in a long time in Minnesota. And I think that's what's exciting about these guys, is that they all complement one another and they all do something different.
No, you're totally right. And you mentioned AP, and I wanted to talk about AP because there is turmoil in Washington. Jay Gruden is all but fired after the season. He does not like Adrian Peterson. That is public known knowledge. If they get rid of him, or he's on the trade block, you think he'd ever come back here? I don't think the Vikings, but
AP,
I think that would be really cool.
I mean, we don't. Look, I love Adrian Peterson, but we really don't need him right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I'd love to have him back in. Come on back in purple, Adrian. I'd love to see it, but I just don't see it. Although Skip Bayless was making fun of how slow Adrian's been looking lately. He was like, every time that Adrian gets the ball and is running towards the line of scrimmage, play, and it's, but no, he's just not fast anymore.
He's like, I'm waiting. All right, guys. I know I made a vow a couple weeks ago not to curse, but I'm going to drop an F-bomb here real quick. So if you need to turn down the radio, if you got kids in the car or whatever, now's the time to do it. Skip Bayless is a fucking moron. Shut up. Just shut up. Just shut the hell up. Skip Bayless, you are a blabbering idiot, and if I could and get away with it, I would punch you square in your teeth. You are a moron. Just stop. Skip Bayless is an idiot. God, I hate him so much. Go talk about the Cowboys and your love for them or something else, for God's sake. Back to the game here at the Raiders. Get me off that tangent there. Receiving, I mentioned earlier for my game ball, Irv Smith Jr. led the team, 3 receptions, 3 targets for 60 yards. Adam Thielen also had 3 out of 5, 55 yards and a touchdown. Cook was 4 out of 5 for 33 yards. Diggs 3 for 3 for 15. Rudy and CJ Ham also caught passes. Really good mix there for receiving. Glad to see that Adam Thielen's getting the work that he needs. Stephon Diggs is having a slow and quiet year. I know he was a little banged up a couple weeks ago or whatever, but I look to see him to kind of break out and have a game here soon because he hasn't had one yet. He has good success in the past too against the Bears, so we'll see.
Yeah, we still need more from our kind of like our big trio of specialists. We need to see more from Diggs, Thielen, and Rudolph in the passing game. I think Diggs in particular, I'm still waiting for him to kind of come out and have a good, hey, here I am game for this season. But I have faith in all 3 of them, more so in Diggs and Thielen than with Rudolph. But I know that those 2 guys will be fine in the long term.
We mentioned it before. We said it too. If the running game gets going, the receiving numbers are going to take a hit, but it doesn't matter as long as you score points. If you're running the ball a lot too, it means you're on the field longer. The defense is going to be more fresh, which means they're going to cause a ruckus too. So I'm okay with the receiving numbers not going nuts. You see what all those numbers last year got us, 8, 7, and 1. So
yeah,
I'm okay if it comes.
I tell you what, man.
If the receiving numbers take a hit and that means we make the playoffs, who gives a shit?
Yeah, right. Adam Thielen, I don't know what more there is to say about him that we haven't said in the past, but you watch his ability to run routes and just how crisp he is coming out of his breaks, and he just makes defenders look like idiots out on the field. And his ability to make catches and just make plays is just special. He's just a special kind of talent from Minnesota. It's just hard to believe where he came from and where he's at now, just in terms of just what work ethic can get you when you dedicate yourself to a craft. And I just love watching him play out there on the field for Minnesota.
Yeah, I do too, man. He'll go in the Ring of Honor. If he stopped playing right now, he'd go in the Ring of Honor. I do believe it. He has been nuts, just nuts for this team. And what's crazy is he's still got some good tread on the tires left. I think he's only like 29. He's still got a good 3-4 more seasons of being a top 10 wide receiver.
He's got a good long career left in him.
Yeah, I am very happy that we didn't catch him as like that Greg Jennings age. I love Greg Jennings and what he gave to the team, but we didn't catch him after his prime, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So
yeah,
a lot of tread left on the tires for Thielen and for Diggs. So there was one fumble from Chad Beebe. Like I said in the defense earlier for their stats, Eric Wilson led the way, 11 tackles, 7 by himself, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 2 quarterback hits. Sacks came from Eric Wilson, Everson Griffin, and Daniil Hunter. There were 5 total quarterback hits, 5 tackles for loss. 1 interception by Mr. Harrison Smith. Loved seeing Harry the Hitman get another pick to add to his resume. He's still don't question it. That dude's still a badass.
Yeah, he's a stud. Absolute stud.
Going down the list here, Minnesota kick returns. Amir Abdullah 1 for 25. Chad Beebe 3 for 21. Dan Bailey was 2 for 2 on field goals and 4 for 4 on extra points. Love to see that. And our punter's name is Britton Colquitt. And that's all I need to say about that. He's a good guy.
Hey, he is a good punter.
Yes, he is.
Got really pretty good for this.
Sneaky good acquisition.
Yep.
Because he can actually hold for Bailey, which is super weird. It's like they're supposed to know how to do that.
Right. I was reading an article that was like basically the Vikings should just never bring in a rookie kicker or a rookie punter because for whatever reason, Mike Zimmer just must be incredibly hard and difficult on them, and they just can't succeed in Minnesota. Yeah, so it's like you got to bring in a veteran who can just handle Mike Zimmer being a hard ass on him if you're going to be a specialist and have any success in Minnesota. Daniel Carlson for the Raiders, still can't kick when he comes in Minnesota. He may miss a field goal for the Raiders.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about the draft and all the hoopla the last couple of years about special teams. It's not good. It's not. This wasted pick this year on the fifth rounder on a kicker that's what they didn't even play in the regular season for us. I mean, it proved to be like the smart decision later because he's not on a team now, I don't think, but they got to figure that out because that's been a lot of stuff that's been overlooked because the defense is so good because we found some gems like Adam Thielen. There's been some royal mistakes, but I've covered that recently in recent episodes on Slick Rick and some of his questionable draft choices and trade and all that fun stuff. So I won't bear in too much there, but let's talk about this game on Sunday. If we can transition there, the Vikings are traveling to Chicago at Soldier Field. Yeah,
I'm not worried about Chicago's offense. I'm really not. Mitch Trubinsky, I think we can stop Chicago on offense. It's their defense that's going to give us issues. Can we protect Kirk Cousins? Can we do enough, in the run game to be able to, play with a lead and play to our strengths? We'll see what'll happen. Or is Khalil Mack just going to have an absolute field day against the offensive line?
I hope not. See. I hope that what you're saying is not going to happen. I think there's going to be a lot of screens, some slants, get the ball out quick. And if you think we ran the ball a lot the last 3 games, wait till the Sunday because I don't want Kirk standing back there all day getting mauled by Khalil Mack. There's going to be a lot of West Coast offense, get the ball out quick, Charlie check down stuff, and a lot of running the ball Sunday if I am a betting man. Set Kirk up for success. When he throws the ball between 15 and 25 times and we run the ball more than 20 to 25 or more, we do great.
That's our formula, man. That's our formula for success.
It's all it is. And it doesn't matter if it's by 1 point. It doesn't matter if it's a 6-7 game. As long as you win. We have to start winning division games because if you guys haven't noticed, I'm not too threatened by them, but Detroit is undefeated. They're, 2-0-1. The Packers are undefeated, and right now they're up 10-0 on the Eagles.
I just checked that 10-0.
Yeah, so we really have to keep this trend going to keep a competitive race in this division because, I mean, I have Vikings bias and goggles on here. We should be 3-0. That terrible game from Cousins in Green Bay really, really screwed us as far as the record goes. It's going to bite us in the ass later, but this team's got it. But they have got to show up, and you got to win some good road games, tough road games in the division. And Chicago's going to be a huge test. As of right now, ESPN's matchup predictor is almost at 50% on both. 52.2% goes the edge to Minnesota. 47.74% goes to Chicago. So we are the favorites right now. The spread is only over-under is only 38.5. So that's less than 20 points for each team. So this is going to be a defensive showdown, according to the guys in Vegas who kind of know what they're doing for this stuff. So,
yeah, I would definitely agree with that. That's what I'm expecting to see out of this one.
So going back, so they've won their last 2 games as well. They were at Denver. They faced their former defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, and won 16-14. And then they also beat the crap out of the Redskins Monday night. So that's another one too. They're coming off of a shorter week than us. So hopefully Akeem Hicks, Taylor Gabriel, Kyle Long, Mike Davis, and Eddie Pinheiro can't find their way to the field, but I'm sure some of them will find their way to the field.
What about Cordero Patterson?
Yeah, old Cordero's a Super Bowl champion, man. He's over there in Chicago too, trying to act like he's a wide receiver. Ryan, keep Mac the hell away from Kirk. Yes, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of that. Andrew, screens are going to need a lot of indirectional work in Chicago. Yeah, it's gonna need to be something. It need to have that Peyton Manning style stuff from Gary Kubiak to where. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at Rod's comment, but yeah, only a lot of interaction. We're going to have to do the passing game from Peyton Manning, but I'm talking like 2014, 2015 version, not that very last season that was awful, where he threw, 11 touchdowns and 19 picks. I just need that version of Kirk Cousins and his inner Peyton Manning to come out when the ball comes out of his hand in less than 2 seconds. It's that he's not going to get sacked that way, so we'll see. Eagles touchdown. Let's look at this. I have it open here, and they're up 7-0. There we go. Let's go, Philly. Take out Green Bay at home. Man, I hate the Packers. Whew.
Trying to decide who you want to win between the Packers and the Eagles is like deciding if you want to kiss your sister or your cousin. There's no right answer. You're just wrong either way.
I'm going to go with the Eagles because the Packers are undefeated, and we don't play the Eagles every year. Ugh. Well, I don't really have much else, man. We just wanted to get this out of the way. I know we were late, guys, and we apologize. But you guys are faithful and stick with us to the show. That's why we love you. And I let you guys know an hour in advance, too. So we had a lot of interaction today in the chat here for YouTube. But do you have anything else? We can start plugging stuff.
No, kind of a short show this week. Like I said, I didn't really have any notes or any prep for this one. we literally just made this up on the fly.
Yeah, of course. When it's a Kyle and Kyle show, you can bet that we're going to wing it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, go ahead and put this on the banner here and just let you guys know about it. So if you want to go find us, we're on Facebook. Obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see us on there as well. But just go to facebook.com or youtube.com and type in Purple People Podcast. And you can find us there just like this. I get to do cool stuff like this now that I've attempted to learn how to host. But yeah, we're on Facebook, YouTube. We're on a lot of other stuff too. Twitter as well, Purple People Pod. You can catch us everywhere. And I'll let Kyle talk about this too. But what's your website, sir? Because you can buy a Purple People Podcast merch and swag over there. And you can get shirts, hoodies, tank tops, all kinds of stuff.
You sure can. And I have the link pinned over to our Facebook page as well, too. So if you're looking for like the easy link, just find us over on Facebook at Purple People Podcast. You'll see it right up at the top of the page. But my website is phantasmdigital.com. Like you said, I sell the Purple People Podcast memorabilia. I don't know what you call it. The Purple People Podcast stuff with our logo on it, as well as my own photography work, some digital pieces and stuff like that as well too. I have a really pretty interesting photo series that I've been working on that I'm going to be uploading here really soon too. So be on the lookout for that one. You can check out, like I said, I got all kinds of different artwork and stuff up there too. So check it out. You might see something you like. I would appreciate it, even if you just took a look.
Yeah, go check that out, guys. Kyle's my friend, and he's a co-host, and of course we're gonna have bias there, but he's got some really good talent behind the camera lens. So go check that out. He's got some pretty cool guests on there too, and he likes a lot of the Halloween themed stuff. So if you want to check that out, it's perfect time in the season of the year to do that. Got to give an update for the Purple People Podcast Survival League. Unfortunately, if you wanted to pick the Packers or the Eagles, you cannot do that now because they are playing. But if you are in the Survival League, set a reminder. It went off for me today. And let me go back here and check because this is a lot of fun for me. If you guys aren't a part of the Survival League, it's not in there anymore. I don't remember who I chose. But it's on Yahoo. We have it on our Facebook page. If you guys are already in there now, make sure you make your picks every week because if you don't make a pick, you get a strike. At least make the attempt is what I'm trying to say here. But, yeah. Go update the Purple People Podcast Survival League. Also, if you guys want to help Adam Carlson out, you can go to these websites that I'm about to put up now and support his work because we get a lot of information from this website I'm going to put up here, the Viking Age. Adam's a writer over there, and that's how he pays his bills. That's how he makes his living. And we steal a lot of information there most of the times on the show. So you want to help out, go to thevikingage.com. find an article that Adam Carlson wrote and just go to the bottom and just interact. That boosts his numbers and helps him out and helps keep his lights on. It's about all I got for this week's show. Even though I watched it the day before. That's awesome. Thanks, Rod. Thanks, Andrew. Let's go through here and say, hey, Ryan, appreciate you guys. Marlene Adkins, of course. Appreciate everybody who comes in and interacts.
I'm looking forward to the Chicago game. Really quick to wrap it up here. I do think that the Vikings are going to pick up the win in Chicago. Okay. I know that, like you said, we've had some issues with them for like winning in Chicago for a while now. Even when we've been the better team, we still somehow find a way to not come out on top. But I think that we're going to turn it around. I'm going to have some faith that we're going to turn it around. We're going to pick up the win in Chicago, and this will be the breakout week for Adam Thielen or Stephon Diggs or someone on offense is going to have a breakout performance for us, and that's going to help lead us to a victory. That's my prediction. Do you have a bold prediction?
I don't have a bold prediction. There will be a football game Sunday in Soldier Field, and our team will play another team that is home to there. And they will play for 4 quarters, and the final score will come out and show a winner and a loser. That's my prediction. I have no idea, guys. I want to say the Vikings – I know that the Vikings have all the tools and the momentum right now to win, but traditionally we play very, very crappy there. I hope for the team's sake they don't fall to 0-2 in the division because that's going to be really rough later on in the stretch. So I hope they win, but I can't say left or right if they are going to. Ooh, here you go. We'll end the show with that. Treadwell is going to lead in reception Sunday. I said it. Ryan, if this happens, we have it on the show. If this happens, Ryan, if he leads the team in receptions, as in he catches the most balls, I'm going to buy you a Purple People podcast shirt. That's how much I have faith I have in him not doing that. But I'm a man of my word, and you can pester me all you want. But I like the enthusiasm, man. I'm glad to have some depth back. I'm glad Treadwell found his home again. Maybe he'll play his butt off. Andrew says Ryan is drunk. He says I've been
That's amazing.
That's why we love this show. That's why we love the people on this show. And yeah, buddy, I got you. I'll buy you. You just have to tell me what color and what size you want, and I'll buy you a T-shirt. But that's all I got for the show. Thank you guys really for tuning in. Thanks for interacting with us. We love everybody that tunes in. Check out all the stuff we just mentioned. And remember to always keep it classy, Minnesota.